What is up, 18? Welcome back to Chillie Verity Show, and today we're gonna continue reviewing the new album the SB19 dropped. I'm so excited. Bazinga was a masterpiece, and I am expecting no less from this one, Mana, which not really sure what to expect yet, but in the highlight medley, I really liked its rhythm. So let's check it out. I've actually got myself two versions of this because I want to, like last time when I was reviewing Bazinga, I was a little bit too caught up with the visuals, like the video game, that I didn't really focus on the music so much. So this time I want to first of all do a first run through that would just appreciate the vocals, the music, you know, everything, the rhythms, the instruments. And then the second time, I want to go deeper. You know, I love going deep, and I know you love going deep with me, just so we can have these moments together. So we will go super deep dive into the lyrics and interpretations and stuff like that in the second part of this video. So stay with me to the end. Don't go anywhere. Man, I can't wait to listen to all of the tracks. The next one we're looking at is Ikako, and I actually haven't watched the original. So what I'm gonna do in the next video is I'm gonna do both of them at the same time. That way, kind of like the first run through here with the Pagsibol with just the music, and then the second one with the lyrics. In Ikako, we're gonna do like the original versus Pagsibol version and give you a double shot right there, just to spice things up. And so, okay, look forward to that. And let's jump into Mana. Oh, did you hear that drop? That was a sick drop. I'm gonna say SB19 sure knows how to make an impact. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, now I wish I had played the lyrics version first, because I really am dying to know who's singing this, because I really want to get used to their voices and know exactly who's singing at what time. But let's keep going. Surely that's Pablo, right? I love the minor scales that they're using. Oh, building up here. I feel like that was Josh there. Wait a minute. That was so heavy to start with, and then that the flute thing just comes in. Wow, so it's like I like the slow-mo, like the double time that they put right in there. Man, there's so much musicality in this. I want to turn, give one sec, I want to turn the volume up. Okay. Like how they just go long, 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 and then like a quick bit. It's like throw them long punches and then short punches here, long punches, short punches here. That really just toys with our expectations of what the rhythm is gonna be like. Very, very, very creative. Very creative. Oh, yeah. Somehow I knew there was a rap part coming there. And that has to be Josh, right? Like, honestly? Because that really sounded like SB19 what? In the rap bit. Oh, yeah, high note. Oh, the impact. Oh, wait. Why does that sound so sinister right there? Oh, I thought it ended. That's weird. I think this is gonna be my favorite bit. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the end. Oh, wow. Oh, that was impactful. There was so many flavors in there. It's like going to a buffet restaurant and not knowing what dishes you're gonna pick, and then everything you pick up and you bite into it has a different, very unique taste, but it's also not really quite what you were expecting, kind of thing. And I saw the interview, actually. What little of it I could understand in English. What they seem to want this Pagsibol album to be one where us 18 have no idea what to expect, and like every track is different, just to show that, you know, like creativity is not bounded and is like not limited. So I definitely feel that, because from all of those songs that they've sung so far, like that this song is completely different from Bazinga, to say the least. And I can really see how all of their personalities come into this. You have the aggro rap bit, you have the kind of like happy-go-lucky flutist at the background, like, and then you got this super bass, you know, that's going right in there. I don't know, somehow I feel like Ken must be holding up the fort on that one. And then you get the angry Pablo kind of thing, and I like totally like can imagine him in the recording studio just belting it out, and then the mic just breaking apart. You can't handle them. Neither can we, really. And Stell, I haven't changed my idea of him yet, because when I first watched SB19, Stell appeared to me like someone who was really quite serious. And 18 all over the world have told me that he's actually like a jokester and like a sunshine figure, and we definitely saw a hint of that during Josh's birthday, but I don't know, like I think I just need time to get used to them. Alright, let's jump into the lyrics and let's see what this song is actually all about. Shout out to NK Edit for putting the Mana, Filipino, and English color-coded lyrics online, because I'm definitely going to benefit from that right now. That gets me excited because I get to see who is actually singing what parts. So let's go! I'm gonna bet you that Pablo's gonna start this, isn't he? Since he wrote this. What, Ken? Oh, I am not expecting that. It's got like this really harsh, manly tone, doesn't it? I reckon Pablo's voice is still the easiest to recognize. He's got this grunge about it, but I don't get what the lyrics are saying, by the way. What? Well, we miss you, but we rather you kind of showed up not paralyzed. Okay. Oh, I'm not expecting Stell's voice to sound like that actually, but like I would have thought Stell's voice was actually Josh's voice. And I actually quite like Justin's voice. Oh, amen to that. What's Mana Nango? Does Mana Nango have anything to do with heaven and earth being together? Or are they talking about like God's grace kind of thing? Also, Mana means inheritance. You know, I really think that Josh really suits the tough parts. Okay, I really feel that Stell is the epitome of powerful voices. I've seen a couple of TikToks and he's just singing Mappa with his heart out. And I see the same passion here in this song. Okay, so impressions of them singing the song so far is that this song is really about the journey to go much higher, and some people who don't understand where they're coming from, but it's time that they realize that they've grown up and they just have to keep going. Why are we... Okay, this bit makes me very confused because why are they suddenly talking about ghosts? Yeah, this is the bit that I don't get. Like, it suddenly sounded very sinister, and even having the lyrics that doesn't kind of like explain much. I'm gonna check out what that word means, I think. Okay, that's it. I am too curious about this, so I'm gonna go and look it up. Hold right there. Oh my gosh. What's that horrendous looking thing? That is a mana nango? Man, that looks hideous. Check this other one out. Yo. It's like a bat vampire zombie cross. Oh my gosh. Why is there such a long tongue? Oh, this is a different version that looks like a... I don't know. It looks like a demon, actually. Ew. Okay, I have a curious question. Why are our favorite Christian boys singing about this disgusting demonic thing right here? I don't get it. Now that I know this is what they're singing about, I feel kind of really uneasy about this. Oh. I mean, this is not what I'm expecting from people who love God and come from families of missionaries and pastors. That's not exactly holy, is that? Well, let's talk a little bit about Spirituality 101, right? Without understanding exactly why they are talking about this in this song, I suppose in this day and age of computer and video games and stuff like that, this is probably not the most demonic thing you've ever seen. But anything that is not of God, gut instinct, does that tell you that God would have made this and looked at everything he created and said that it is really good? Answer is no, right? Like a simple answer. So God didn't make this. And in the spirituality realm, it's not so gray. It's either black or it's white. It's either holy or it's not holy. It's either good or it's evil. Comes down to the bottom of the foundation. It's either of God or it is unholy by default. It's like a binary thing. It's like on or off, light switch kind of thing. There's no kind of like switch the light halfway on. You know, when you switch the light off, it's off. When the light is on, it's on. When there's light, there's light. When there's darkness, there's darkness. And the spiritualities and spiritual beings know that very well. But the way they try to migrate that to the planet Earth and us who live in it is they try to gray things out, going, oh, it's okay, it's only a little bit. It's only like a reference to whatever that, you know, they're using it for. Like, it's only a metaphor. You don't have to worry about that, you know. No, it's not like that. They themselves know in the spiritual realm, the demons, they know that unless it is completely holy, it is not at all. It is not holy at all. Unless it is good, completely, absolutely, it is actually evil. And it is actually bad. It's just light switch, on off kind of thing. And I can't say that this is from God. So as ATIN and as believers in Yeshua, we really have to ask ourselves, is this right here what we really want to stand for? Whatever the references are, you know, however it's being used in this song, is it right? In the lyrics just now, they talk about the grace that has been given to them, and I'm assuming that this song's actually talking about their own experiences, them going through their careers, and, you know, breaking through all the challenges and obstacles. You know, I actually think that it's more about that. I hope it's not like a song dedicated to a demon. I really don't hope so. At least, you know, with my very limited Tagalog understanding at the very least. I sure hope that it's not, because that would be very disappointing, because we 18 have been praying for them, not for them to come up with this though. Like, we've been praying that they would make a distinction in their world because of the God-given grace that God has allowed them to come to this place and show the world what they've got and show the world what Filipinos can do. And I hope that they wouldn't compromise Remember Yeshua, Jesus, just before his beginning of his ministry, he was in the wilderness for 40 days, day and night, and he was being tempted by the devil. And the devil said, bow before me, and all of these nations are all yours. And isn't that a lucrative proposition, you know? Just a little bow. Doesn't mean anything, right? It's kind of gray. It's fine. Like, why bother? Why do you have to endure the cross and suffering later on? Because Jesus knew that he came to die. Why do you have to die? You don't have to die. You just have to do this little bow, a little curtsy if you don't mind, you know? And everything's yours anyway. But the problem is that everything will be subjected to Jesus, who will be himself subjected to Satan. And basically by offering that proposition, Satan has offered Christ the position to be the Antichrist. See how sinister that is and how deceptive that is. So today, for anybody wanting success, the adversary Satan, is wanting to propose the same thing. You just bow down to me a little bit. Just put this little bit of occultism and spiritism that is not part of true holy spirituality, and you have to make that distinction. It's just a fine line. You can gray it out. That's fine. Just put a few words here and there that sounds Christian, like grace, and then put these in. Just bow to me and this whole world will be yours. And unfortunately, a lot of times, a lot of K-pop stars, they really bow down to that. One of them I can think of is ENHYPEN. NCT did the same thing. BTS did the same thing. You know, it's really, really crazy if you look at some of the music videos and what they put out there. That's actually really dark. And they are definitely some of the top groups that are changing the world right now. You can change the whole world, but you yourself have been subjected to Satan. And you're gonna lose your soul. So Jesus, Yeshua, asks you, what can it profit a man if you gain the whole world yet lose your own very, very soul? What else can you take? How much money, how much inheritance can you take to exchange for the value that this soul is worth? You don't realize that this soul that you have right here, that's the most valuable thing you're ever gonna own. Ever. I'm gonna quit this. I hope that we don't go ahead and allow these little bit of compromises. From the position, the country that I'm speaking through to you here in the Philippines or Canada or Australia. You know, many years ago, Australia was kind of very Christian country. Anybody that thinks Western countries, they usually think Western countries are Christian countries. And it started out like that. And then these little things happened in Western pop, except it took the form of more like sex and drugs, you know, rather than demonic worship. Either way, it's some sort of sin that Western music really compromised into, and that then became the culture. And when that then became the culture, it then permeates into the attitudes and heart belief of the people inside. And sooner or later, look at it, maybe like 10-20 years later, look at us right now in Australia. We are quickly becoming one of the countries that do not even tolerate the existence of Christians. That is how bad it is. Just last week, one of the Christian groups have been denied being able to rent a town hall, like a public space out to hold a Christian conference for no reason other than the fact that the people in charge, they said, sorry, it's a public hall spaces and we don't tolerate anybody who don't hold the same views as us. And what laws have been recently passed? It's these gender equality laws that have been passed that says that people can choose whichever gender that they want to be. And because these Christian groups are standing firm to the conservative traditional view, the godly, holy, God-made, creative view about what gender identity is, they have just been denied access to rent a public space. You know, like this is unheard of. This is the first time that's kind of ever happened in Australia. And look, my cats in Philippines, if you are not careful, your country will also be like that. So that's why I want you to live. That's why I want you to take this to heart and take it seriously and know that there's no space in the spiritual realm for compromise. You're either in God's kingdom or you're out of it. There's no one foot in two boats here. There's just no space for that. And here I want to give you the tools so that you can make your own decision. This is my standpoint. You can accept it or not, but I'm trying to like bring out from inside the foundations on which I stand on in my spirituality, and I know this is one that God desires, and I'm showcasing that to you in hopes that you will see that in there there's light. Where there is light, there is life. Where there is light and life, there is truth, and this truth is gonna give you meaning, and then you have a reason for being, you have a reason for meaning. If you just compromise a little bit here and there, you're giving Satan the foothold to cling on to you like a roaring lion and a leech, you know, to try and cling on to you, and he won't let go. You gotta, in Christ's name, shake him off and patch up your own gaps inside your own heart and your own mentality and your own psychology, so that he cannot cling on to it, so that you are too slippery for his claws to get on. You gotta really be aware here. And I want to share with you what God thinks. And you've probably seen this book here a couple times, and this one here that's blue is actually the same thing. This is CJB version of the Bible, and I just want to read that to you. Jeremiah chapter 7, and I read this recently in a devotion, that's why it really brings it to mind. Okay, let's read from verse 3. Here's what Adonai Zvaot, Lord of Hosts, the God of Israel, says. Improve your ways and actions, and I will let you stay in this place. Don't rely on that deceitful slogan. The temple of Adonai, the temple of Adonai. These buildings are the temple of Adonai. So don't rely in our way, because we are God's temple. Don't say, I'm Christian, I'm Christian, I'm Christian. Of course I'll be saved. Don't rely on that deceitful slogan. No. But if you really improve your ways and actions, if you really administer justice between people, if you stop oppressing foreigners, orphans, and widows, if you stop shedding innocent blood in this place, and if you stop following other gods to your own harm, then I will let you stay in this place in the land that I gave to your ancestors forever and ever. That's a wake-up call, isn't it? This is what Adonai, our God, really thinks. Look, you're relying on deceitful words that can't do you any good. First you steal, murder, commit adultery, swear falsely, offer to Baal, which is what these things are when we do things that are demonic worship and have spiritism associated with it, and go after other gods that you haven't known, including making humans your idols. Then you come and stand before me in this house that bears my name and say, we are saved, so that you can go on doing these abominations. Do you regard this house which bears my name as a cave for bandits? I can see for myself what's going on, says Adonai. Go to the place in Shiloh that used to be mine, that used to bear my name, and see what I did to it because of the wickedness of my people Israel. I spoke to you again and again, but you won't listen. I called you, but you won't answer. Now, says Adonai, because you have done all these things. That sounds like Genesis 3, when Adam and Eve fell into sin. Now, because you have done all these things, I will do to the house that bears my name on which you rely, and to the place I gave you and your ancestors, what I did to Shiloh. I will drive you out of my presence, just as I drove out all your kinsmen, all the descendants of Ephraim. So you, Jeremiah, don't pray for these people. Don't cry, pray, or intercede on their behalf with me, because I won't listen to you. Don't you see what they're doing in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, the fathers light the fire, and the women knead the dough to make cakes for the Queen of Heaven, just like we were saying Bazinga. And just to provoke me, they pour out drink offerings to other gods. Are they really provoking me, says Adonai, or are they provoking themselves to their own ruin? Therefore, here is what Adonai Elohim, the Lord God, says. My anger and fury will be poured out on this place, on men, animals, trees in the fields, and produce growing from the ground, and it will burn without being quenched. That says Adonai Zvaot, the Lord of hosts, so the Lord of the armies, the God of Israel. You may as well eat the meat of your burnt offerings along with that of your sacrifices. You might as well sacrifice to yourself, not to me. For I didn't speak to your ancestors or give them orders concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. Rather, what I did order them was this: pay attention to what I say. Then I will be your God, and you will be my people. In everything, live according to the way that I order you, so that things will go well with you. But they neither listen nor paid attention, but lived according to their own plans, in the stubbornness of their evil hearts, thus going backwards and not forward. You have done this from the day your ancestors came out of Egypt until today, and by faith they are our ancestors too, right? Even though I sent you all my servants, the prophets, sending them time after time, they would not listen or pay attention to me, but stiffened their necks. They did worse than their ancestors. So tell them all this, but they won't listen to you. Likewise, call to them, but they won't answer you. Therefore say to them, this is the nation that has not listened to the voice of Adonai their God. And I'm curious to know what happens to such a nation. They won't take correction. Faithfulness has perished and has vanished from their mouths. Cut off your hair and throw it away. Take up a lament on the bare hills. For Adonai has rejected and abandoned the generation that rouses his anger. It's scary when the Lord abandons you and leaves you to your own devices, you know. For the people of Yehuda have done what is evil from my perspective, says Adonai. They have set up their detestable things in the house which bears my name to defile it. You are the temple of God. Will you defile it? Will you defile yourself? They have built the high places of Topheth in the Ben Hinnom Valley, to burn their sons and daughters in the fire, something I never ordered. In fact, such a thing never even entered my mind. Now, I really want to point this out because the Israelites got to the point where they were putting their newborn babies on the red hot iron hands of the idols that they set on fire, and then the baby was burned alive. It got to that sort of evil stages because they believed that once they sacrificed that baby to that iron idol, that the idol will bless them and give them a fruitful harvest the next season of their planting and growing. So they would rather use their own gain and sacrifice these innocent babies who don't even know how to walk. And archaeologists have found a digging around those sites of those people who practice this sort of occultism of Jezebel. Stacks and stacks and layers of small infant skulls and bones. Just layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. Really many kilometers wide, and it's horrible. And when you and I compromise, and SB19, they don't know this, okay? I'm not saying this to condemn them or anything, but they don't understand this to the seriousness that it is. That's why I have to spend so long trying to talk to you about it. They don't understand the seriousness that when they produce a song like this that glorifies demons, and then get all of the ATIN Christian family to listen to this, what they're doing is the same. They're actually offering your souls up for sale onto the idols so that they can gain their profit. They don't do this maliciously, okay? These people, but they don't realize the evil sin that has been deceived by Satan, that they have led them into, to lead you into. That's why I need to stand up for you here and say, nope, let's put a block on this. Let's put a stop on this. Let's not worship the idol. Let's not listen to this song. And let's not allow occult worship or compromise to happen in our lives. Because we don't want God to look at us and go, these are the people I used to love. We want God to look at us and go, these are the people I still love. Therefore, the days are coming, says Adonai, when it will no longer be called either Topheth or Ben Hinnom Valley, but the Valley of Slaughter. They will put the dead in Topheth, because there will be no space left anywhere else. The corpses of these people will become food for the birds in the air and the wild animals, and no one will frighten them away. Then in the cities of Yehuda and the streets of Jerusalem I will silence the sounds of joy and gladness, and the voices of bridegroom and bride, because the land will be reduced to ruins. Guys, you don't realize this, but any nation that follows in these evil practices will eventually bring on its own nation the same sort of ruin. That's why the Old Testament was put for us to read in the Tanakh. That's why Yeshua said these people have the prophets and Moses' books, the laws, to inform them and guide them on their way. And if they don't believe this, not even when I come will they believe me. Not even will they believe it when someone resurrects from the dead. It is that serious. And you don't believe that this is gonna happen to you? Just take a few looks at the book of Revelation. Chapter 18. Fallen, fallen, Babylon the Great. She has become a home for demons, a prison for every unclean spirit, a prison for every unclean, hated bird. My people, come out of her, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not be infected by her plagues. For sins are sticky mess piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Render to her as she rendered to others. Pay her back double for what she has done. Use the cup in which she has brewed to brew her a double-sized drink. Give her as much torment and sorrow as the glory and luxury she gave herself. For in her heart she says, I sit as a queen, I'm not a widow, I will never see sorrow. Therefore her plagues will come in a single day. Death, sorrow, famine, and she will be burned with fire, because Adonai God her judge is mighty. And this is gonna happen soon. Perhaps for some of you, it might be in some of your lifetime, because we definitely see the onset of this whole world starting to become a very, very globalized nation, and to which the world will suffer what they deserve, which is a very, very totalitarian government that will strip all of our freedoms away. And you think that this pervasive sickness, and right now in the whole world the situation is bad, it's gonna get much worse because people do not repent and turn back towards God. That's why true love is to love someone enough to let them live. And really the only way to live is to live in holiness. I hope that ATIN, you and I, we can learn to bring our culture, all of the media that we're consuming, all of the tweets that we are sending and receiving, all of the Instagram messages and the TikToks and the Reels. I hope that we can take all of that and subject them under the light of God, and then make a discernment as to whether something is good or evil, and then walk in God's way. And so I really, really hope that we don't follow the patterns of the world, but we can stay true towards God. No, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are really, really popular. If I say their names, you know who they are. They've been dead for thousands of years. And I want SB19's legacy to be like that. They're so popular so that even thousands of years later, you remember them on a good term, and you know, yeah, these people are people who follow God. SB19, we're going to continue to pray for you that you will walk in the ways of our Lord, and bring ATIN along as well.